Alright, in this video we're going to quickly go over the new altitude hold and stability function. Just added this. Again, as you can see with this, when we spawn the UFO in, because of the challenge, I'll change this when I do the release post-challenge. As you can see, it lays on its belly. We'll come over to the control station, change a couple things on this, hit the circuit breaker, powers on the control station. Once we hit master power, you'll see the gear comes down. So that will load up the UFO will stand up on its gear. So I might change that to direct connect to the battery so it automatically does that. We'll come in the remote cockpit here, turn our generator switch, start our two turbines. We'll go ahead and we will increase thrust till we get to the third green line. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we'll go to blue line. There's blue line. Alright, so with the new system, we need to engage the autopilot master. We have the alt hold vertical flight. So this is for only vertical flight. So you need the rotors to be all the way up, which is right here. And you need the autopilot on and the switch on. So autopilot master's on. We have vertical props for our rotors. We're going to go ahead and enter into target altitude. So we'll put 500 feet. Alright, 500 is in there. And as soon as we hit this button, it will go capture 500. Alright, so it's capturing 500. It's auto-stabilized, as you can see. We're going to do a quick drop. You'll notice that the craft might pitch up in a quick drop. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do anything about that or not. So we'll go down to 250. And as you can see, the craft's going to pitch, but the auto-stabilization system will grab it. So you see it does a little bit of a maneuver there with the pitch, but I don't think it's really too big of a deal to worry about. If you went from like 10,000 down to like, and you lowered this all the way down to 0, you know, it might do a pitch. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we'll go down to 120. So here we go down to 120. All right. And we'll go back out and look at it. There's the UFO. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put the gear up. Oh, that's gimbal camera. We'll put gimbal camera out anyways. Put the gear up. And we're going to want to go over to that oil derrick over there. So we'll actually increase our altitude. We'll do 150 for now. Go up to 150. We just want to clear this this rock here. So we'll go up even higher, 170. Alright, so we can either turn manually with left-right on the yaw. The roll is auto-stabilized to try to keep a neutral roll, and that's so that we're not translating left and right. So as you can see, I can manually control my yaw to turn to that oil derrick. One of the reasons we want this function is for the gimbal camera. So if we've already kicked out the gimbal camera, so let's go to it. As you can see, if we were to, let's say we were to spy on that oil derrick, we would want our camera to stay pretty still and point at the oil derrick. And as you can see, we have a gentle right yaw here. So what we do is if we, first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to move our heading bug to where we want to be pointing. So we'll go heading bug right. Turn a heading mode on. Now it's going to follow this heading bug. So we'll move it to the left a little bit. As you can see, it's going to rotate left. So we want to keep it pointing at that oil derrick. So that's looking pretty good there. We'll turn our camera. We actually want to move our nose a little bit. We already turned the camera. So we can use this airplane. That's going to line us up best with it. So just keep moving the heading bug till the airplane is lined up with the oil derrick. And there we go. We're pretty well lined up with the oil derrick. So we'll actually just move our camera now back. I forget which way it needs to go. I think to the right. There we go. So there's the oil derrick. So we'll zoom in. Not so much. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to change the sensitivity on this. It's not my controllers for this, so I don't want to screw with it too much. But right here we have the green helipad, so that's where we're going to head and land. So when we have this stability and altitude hold function on, we can just leave that on, and we can just use WASD in the yaw, and as you can see, it's going to maintain our heading. If we did an extreme pitch, it would start to struggle to maintain the altitude, but this will maintain our heading and our altitude, and we're just tapping and holding W and moving like a helicopter towards the oil derrick. A little bit of left yaw. So again, you can do this manually if you wanted to with the yaw function for heading, but as you can see with the bug, it's nice. We can just tap it and it will hold that heading. We don't have to worry about it oscillating left and right. So we're going to be heading towards that green helipad. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hit the R on the gimbal cam. That looks straight down, and it brings it into its default position. So this is great for landing vertically. So when we want to land right on, say, a helipad, we'll use this function. So I'm going to just increase the pitch, or decrease the pitch angle and increase the speed. As you can see, we're moving like a helicopter, so up to like 40 knots, just pitching down. It's holding altitude. Alright, so we're going to slow down. We'll just let go of the W, and as you see, it's going to bring the nose up, and it will start to bring itself right down to 0 knots. So right there, we'll get our heading generally set to the helipad, and we'll start moving forward again. I'll lower my altitude to 120. That should bring us just above the pad. I think like 90 is landed. So our gear is up, so we'll click that down. We only put our gear up so that it didn't interfere with the gimbal camera when we were looking forwards. So we're going to keep just tapping the heading bug to the left there to where it needs to be to keep us aligned. So we're just going to line the little plane up with the H. Just keep tapping with W, and we're going to be looking with our gimbal camera here. Now, there's a spotlight right in the center of the UFO, so the spotlight is great in helping us to land on things like helipads. It's going to be a little bit difficult during the day just because you're not going to be able to see it as much as at night, but as you can see right there, you can still see it even in the day. So as you notice, it's coming in, and we are to the right. So we can just... I'm going to let go of the controls here. As you can see, it auto-stabilizes. Just tap A. That's going to translate us left with roll. And as you see, we just gently, that was, I think, 2 taps with A. And we just gently translate left. We need to come back just a hair. And once we get that spotlight lined up with the H, we can start coming down gently. So I'll go down, let's say 110. And we're pretty good on the spotlight. We'll readjust a little bit. Try to get even better. Perfect. Alright, we'll come down again. We'll do it in 5s. I think we're getting nice and close. So as you can see, the spotlight's getting even more focused on that H. So that will really help us to get us right in the middle of the pad. So we'll go ahead and we'll do 95. We'll do another 10. And that's almost touchdown. See, I don't think we can zoom out anymore, but we're pretty close to being on the pad here. So we'll go down to 90. I think 90 is on the pad. And touchdown. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll feather the props just to make sure we can't take back off, and I'll fly and we'll head over there and see how the landing was. That's just about perfect. As you can see, the landing legs are all on the pad. You can see with using the spotlight is directly in the center of the UFO. So you see how close that right there would be center of the pad. So we're just barely off the center of the pad. So as you can see with that, we can make really nice, precise landings. And it's also great for, since we need to be using the gimbal camera, that allows us, you know, when we're spying on the oil derricks, we can just kind of hover in the air. So next thing we'll do is we'll just change up to night mode, kind of show off some of the lights. So this is at night. what we'll do is we'll go up to about 120 and we'll look at the pad and we'll see how the lights look when we're it's at night. Did I enter it? I did enter it. Oh, so we didn't go up, and the reason we didn't go up is because remember I feathered the props, so it's gonna try to bring the props up, but let's bring it up for it to blue line. So we're back at blue line. There we go. So we'll go to 120. All right, so you can see at night, you can see the green light even better, but it's not necessary. So we'll put the gear up. I'm just gonna I'll remove the heading, and we'll do it manually this time. Last time we were doing the heading bug. Heading bug is great for real precision stuff, like we were doing when we were trying to actually just use that camera, because you know that will hold our heading looking directly at what we want. So again, you see it's maintaining that altitude. It's maintaining our altitude, and I'm just using the W key. I could push it down pretty far before we start losing altitude. You see we're losing altitude there at 2 bars. So I can, and then as soon as I bring it back up, it's going to recollective trying to get back up to its altitude. So we, doing like 40 knots there. I have to look at it if the part of the issue is, there's no real issue, but, part of the thing to think about is this mode is only going to work when the props are vertical. You imagine even if you had like a 5-degree forward pitch in the props, it would, the craft would start translating forward. So I have to do some testing, see if that's something worth doing. I think with this mode, when you click this mode on, I'm going to make it so a condition of having that mode on is you have to have the props all the way up, which will be a 0 figure. So as you can see, let's see if we can zoom in. Right there is where we're sitting in the command center. There's our H. So one of the things that was challenging before this mode with the UFO is all of this deck of the UFO blocks our view. So we're blocked here, we're blocked here. So using the gimbal camera, that really helps us. So if we want to tip the gimbal camera up, you can see right there, we can also look forwards to where we're going. So let's look right at the, we'll translate, we'll use the little plane on the front. We'll look right at the middle of the H where we want to land. And then we'll zoom in our gimbal camera, which we do have a night vision mode on, so we'll turn that on. We'll go up, and there's our H. We'll go ahead and we'll move our heading bug. The heading bug, I can't remember where I left it. I think it was like a 120 heading. If you start using the heading bug like this and it's not coming around after a while, go the other way. Once it hits south, it can't come back around. I have to see if I can do something to make that work all the way around. You see it now; it's on our right side. So just have that come all the way around here. Here it comes, and we'll just go about 5-10 left, and we'll go ahead and click heading. Again, you can do this all manually, but for precision flying, this is definitely nice. So again, we'll just gently tap over, and we'll line that airplane up with the center of the H. And we're perfectly on the center of H, so we need to move the cam over a little bit. Cam's now in the center of the H, so now if we wanted to go forwards, as you can see, even though we have all this deck, that's pretty soon the helipad's going to be completely obscured by the nose of the craft. Right there, it's gone. We can still see it with the gimbal cam, so we can keep tracking it with the gimbal cam and come in for landing. And this was, it can be tough because right now we pretty much can't see anything because the craft's blocking it, but the gimbal camera is giving us that ability. So just come left just a hair, and we will lower the gimbal cam some more. Now what we'll actually do is we'll hit R, click R, and even in night vision mode you can see the spotlight. So we'll line the spotlight up over the H. In this, it's probably easier to actually just not use the night vision, but you can see how much clearer it is just using it, with the spotlight in non-night vision mode. But we'll turn it on, back on. You can see we have good night vision there. I might see if I can switch that to put a light in there. I can switch to infrared mode, but we'll start gently coming down. So I recommend very small changes in this. You know, not only are you gonna not, you know, the altitude here, just from memory because I've taken off here a bunch, is about 30 feet. So let's just we'll do a, you know, a reasonable jump. We'll go down to 80. As you can see, we can do something like that. If you're dropping like thousands of feet or hundreds of feet, it's gonna do that pitching moment. So we'll go down to 50. We'll do a 30-foot drop. And there we go. So we're about 20 feet over the deck, so we'll realign and readjust. You know, it doesn't need to be perfect, but just for this test, as you can see right there, I think, is the spotlight. So we'll put it right on the H. And then I think it was 30 feet, so we'll go 25. And that'll touch us down. We'll go ahead and feather the props, and we'll jump on out. And as you see, we didn't put the gear down, or I didn't put the gear down, but go ahead and click the gear. It was sitting in the gimbal camera, but I see that's fine. So as you can see, using it in this mode is much easier to do landings because you're not obscured. So retract the gimbal cam. Again, quick shutdown. We'll just do, we'll reduce our thrust down to our ground idle, which is 1 yellow bar. We'll turn our turbines off. Rest of the shutdown procedures pretty simple. Gens off, master power off. Screens will go fuzzy because the antenna on the craft doesn't have any power. Electric circuit breaker off on the drone control. Thanks for watching.